This video is brought to you by Paperlike. iPadOS 26 is officially out, and unlike past updates, this one can definitely make your iPad feel brand new. With that in mind, I have prepared a guide that can help you get the most out of your refreshed iPad running iPadOS 26, and towards the end, I'll be sure to show you some quick tips and tricks as well as how to turn the iPad into the most minimal-looking, distraction-free powerhouse. So, allow me to start with the most important feature to take advantage of, and that is activating the new windowing system via Settings, Multitasking and Gestures, Windowed Apps. This is not Stage Manager, but the new default way to manipulate and work with windows and apps. With it, you can use the traffic light buttons to resize, minimize, or snap windows in different layouts for advanced multitasking, but also do a whole lot more. For example, if I have multiple apps, I can go to Window, Move and Resize, and organize my windows into quarters. Snapping the windows into different sections of the screen is also possible, which can, by the way, be quickly accessed if you hover over the green light expand button. If you're not using a cursor, same pop-up can be triggered by simply holding with the finger on the green light again. For these shortcut junkies, this action can be triggered by holding the globe button or function on an external keyboard alongside the Shift and Control in combination with the arrow buttons. This will move around the active window and snap it in the appropriate section of the screen. Note that if you do that, you might also be moving an app or window that is associated with the active app in tandem. If you, however, want to move around just the active app with the arrow keys, then holding the globe and control without the shift will do the trick. Unlike on a Mac, if you want to enter and exit full screen, the globe icon is your best friend. So globe icon plus F, make it full screen, globe icon plus F, exit full screen. Out of all the window action on the iPad, perhaps the coolest feature for me remains the flick action, which is very much touch-oriented. With it, if I want to snap a window to the left or right, I can simply flick it in that direction. The flick is actually pretty powerful, as with it, I can also flick down to minimize an app or flick up to make it full screen. From full screen, I don't have to chase the traffic lights again to exit, as I can just hold on the top portion of the window and sort of unglue it from its full screen position, which will exit it back to the previous smaller state. Which leads me to the states of Windows. A hidden power of iPadOS is the fact that each window of an app remembers its position and size, meaning if you close it, completely shut it down, it will come back to the same size and location. By the way, if you end up enjoying this video, subscribe, because why not? Another powerful introduction in iPadOS 26 is the menu bar, which of course goes hand in hand with the traffic light buttons. Just like on a Mac, the menu bar is always there even if the app doesn't show it when in full screen or casually chilling somewhere opened. When you pull down from the top, no matter which is the active app, you'll see the menu bar, with the exception of games, of course. Exploring the menu bar of individual apps is very handy, as you can discover desktop-like features that might not be visible at a glance, like formatting text, opening recent, which is super important in my opinion, and of course, the quickest way to get to the settings of that specific app. Since this is an iPad after all, which on many occasions still behaves like a massive iPhone, having the settings of all apps buried under the main settings of the iPad under apps is kind of annoying. And having quick access to a specific app's settings through the menu bar truly saves time. Something new in iPadOS that really gives the iPad the Mac smell is the addition of a dedicated preview app. If I were to receive a contract, for example, before I'd have to juggle between markup files or a third-party app just to sign and return it. But now with preview, everything happens on the spot. I can tap once to insert my stored signature, or maybe highlight a few sections with the Apple Pencil, or simply utilizing markup, knowing I can send it right back without even leaving the app. Same goes for images. Crop, rotate, or resize right inside preview. Consider having a website upload limitation of an image that should be, let's say, no larger than 1024 pixels. I can simply adjust the size of the image right then and there. The app itself is tightly integrated with the scanning feature as well, which goes hand in hand with signing documents, and of course, everything remains easily accessible via the Recents tab as soon as I open the app. Perhaps the most underrated feature is having the ability to open a blank document to, let's say, jot something down in a rush with the Apple Pencil while on a call. When it comes to the Apple Pencil, by the way, if you've ever tried jotting something down or sketching on the iPad and it kind of feels like it was missing a layer of realism, that's because glass is too smooth. Paperlike 2.1 changes that. It's a screen protector made with writers, artists, and planners in mind. Its secret lies in nanodots technology, microscopic beads built into the surface that create just enough resistance so lines feel steadier and more intentional. It's not slippery, it's not scratchy, it's that balanced feedback that brings the sense of paper back to the digital world. The surface is soft enough to slow the Apple Pencil tip wear, yet incredibly thin, so screen clarity and brightness remains untouched. Unlike most matte films, it fights glare without muting colors, and it's one of the rare protectors that fully follows Apple's design standards, meaning pencil latency and precision are flawless. Add scratch and fingerprint protection plus a complete install kit with guided steps, and you get a clean, bubble-free setup. Whether you're filling pages, sketching ideas, or organizing life, Paperlike transforms the iPad from cold glass into a canvas, so feel free to check it out, link below. Okay, so let's talk about the Files app, which is what I was hoping to see most an improvement of. Personally, I've always preferred seeing the Files app in list view because that gives a lot more info, especially in iPadOS, where things are now almost perfect. Something I would suggest doing is tapping on the three little dots on the top right and select and deselect columns you care most about. In my case, Date Modified is paramount as I find the fastest way to find something appearing on the very top. No scrolling necessary. If I was to deal with photos where I have, let's say JPEGs and RAW files, I'd also take advantage of the kind filter to easily separate things. Talking about separation, the secondary menu now reveals options such as customize folder and tags, which brings color and icons to the chaos. Perhaps the most important Mac addition to the Files app, however, is the Get Info tab, which is paramount for power users and reveals the most important feature: changing the default app for specific types of files. To get to the Get Info tab, you can simply right-click or hold to open the secondary menu or press Command+I, just like on a Mac. A great example I can show you here is if I have an image, PNG let's say. By default, the iPad wants to open it with Preview, but I might want to open it with Affinity Photo. While in the Files app, another thing worth pointing out is the ability to add folders to the dock for quick access, and I'm talking about multiple such, which is quite nice. If you don't really like the fan view, which is the default for a folder in the dock, you can actually change that by holding your finger or right-clicking and changing it to grid view, which might be better for folders that have a lot more files to showcase. But if you've ever seen my previous iPad guides, you might remember how much I care about organizing the favorite section on the left side, which has gotten a hidden improvement too. You see, in the past, you couldn't add cloud folders there unless it was iCloud, which was a bummer once I switched to Google Drive and OneDrive. With iPadOS 26, though, I can finally do that. My philosophy here is replicating the sidebar of my Mac, which is a nice bouquet of local folders and various cloud services, things I get in and out multiple times a day. If you're using iCloud, then something that was introduced not so long ago was the option to keep some folders downloaded on the iPad, which comes in handy if you're traveling and let's say you're on a plane and don't have Wi-Fi. To do that, you just have to right-click on that folder and select Keep Downloaded, and that will stay offline for you to use at any point. Now, keep in mind that this option unfortunately is not available in other services like OneDrive or Google Drive, only on iCloud. Copying large files and observing the status is now clearer than ever thanks to background tasks in Files, as well as globally. If I start downloading a large video file from, let's say, WeTransfer, I get a live preview of the download process that allows me to move on to something else, knowing I'll get notified once things are ready. Switching to some visual tweaks, adding background images to messages turned out to be, way cooler than I expected. Aside from having the ability to choose pretty much any photo as a background, the default animation options are actually the ones that stand out to me the most. A more useful feature, especially for larger group chats, is the ability to run polls which is invaluable when organizing an event and scouting options for a venue, for example, and taking people's opinions. Now, as cool as liquid glasses, it might come in a bit too much for some traditionalists, and for them, I'd suggest visiting the accessibility menu under Settings and Display and Text Size. There is the option to reduce transparency and dial down the glass effect while achieving a very minimal and dark effect at the same time. Now let me show you some quick tips and tricks that are not necessarily new, but surprisingly few people know about, starting with the Files app again and the ability to batch select files by simply using 2 fingers. If you're not using a keyboard, that is a lifesaver. When searching for files in the Files app, you can start typing the first 2 letters of the file you're looking for, and you'll be presented with instant visual cues and selection of the file or folder in question. That is actually awesome. Since we're now dealing with proper window management on iPad, Command Tab is very useful and handy, but remember that you can also use the tilde key to go back. So Command Tab go forward, tilde key go backwards. If you're creating a mood board and you want to save, let's say, multiple images at the same time while in Safari, you can hold an image and keep adding to the pile, and when ready, move the pile over to the Photos app or something else like the Journal app. While you're arranging your iPad home screen, always remember that you have to do it for both horizontal and vertical orientations. Even though I've done countless iPad videos, I realized that way too late in my life. If typing without a physical keyboard, remember that you can swipe down to minimize it and take advantage of swipe tapping for, let's say, one hand, for example. Now, to create the most minimal and distraction-free version of the iPad, you can start with the dock and treat it as the most important commodity, as it is in fact the king when it comes to external monitors as well. I'd suggest stacking as many of your most used apps there, as it's far quicker to multitask this way, not having to review the desktop all the time. With the dock utilized, the next thing to do is to go to Wallpapers, pick a gradient, make it black and swipe all the way to the right to make it completely blacked out. Now remove all desktop icons and widgets from all home screens, leaving only a single home screen. Top it all up with dark glass icons in large format and no labels, and enjoy the peace and quiet. If you want to take full advantage of your real estate here, and maybe you want to keep things even cleaner, then under Settings, Multitasking and Gestures, you can turn off Automatically Show and Hide the Dock, which means that you will be in control when the dock shows up. iPad Pro users with OLED displays will truly appreciate the end result. Alternatively, you can spice it up with a wallpaper from one of my latest collection, which has a dark version suitable for that, minimalism. If you want to see how the iPad behaves when plugged into an external display in iPadOS 26, you can check out this video right here. Like and subscribe to the channel as well as my newsletter, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is E, over and out.